Hi there, Phil Rogers, Lauren Hall here, coming to you with our weekly wrap. Sun's out, guns out, Super Saturday Summer Session.
Good job.
It's a lot, isn't it? That's just my excuse because I forgot to wear a t-shirt today and it's a Saturday in the office. So here we are, lapping up some summer weather.
Sunshine.
Yes, correct. So another big week lead up to Christmas is absolutely bananas in our world and in the lending space, which has been really exciting. But yes, there's definitely a lot happening. So a couple of things we thought we'd talk about this week. A little bit firstly, well, it's not bad news, but fun police. Just conscious in the lead up to Christmas with some spending. We have seen the buy now, pay laters, so the afterpays, one pay in full, all those little things starting to pop up, making their way onto credit files. So just be really mindful in the lead up to Christmas now. If you're looking to purchase, refinance, or to do anything in the new year, they now are reporting that behavior or that conduct or those facilities in general now on your credit file.
Yes.
Yeah, so be very, very mindful of that. I know it's convenient, I know it's easy, but it's not really, it's not favorable, I guess, if that's a nice use of words, for the banks when it comes to actually doing that. So just a word of warning, just be mindful of that and conscious of, I guess, spending in general.
Correct.
In that period. Bank's going to look at 30 to 90 days. So yeah, just be conscious of what that looks like and try not to have too big a blowout. I know we haven't really been able to do much for the last little while. Yeah, here's me. Yeah, correct. Just be mindful of that. Yeah, it's been a big run this year. So yeah, conscious that looks like. We have a win. Thought we'd go through.
Good news stories me this week.
Good news.
Yeah, yes. Bad news on good news. So this is just a classic example. We talk a lot about making sure you're checking your interest rate with your bank.
A GC helicopter like in the background.
Choppers out. Around keeping an eye on your interest rate. We use a term called loyalty tax. So we meet a lot of customers that are really loyal to their banks, and we love that mindset. We love that people are like that. But the reality is it's costing you money. Okay, that loyalty tax piece. So I met with some fabulous clients this week who have a couple of existing investment properties, investment loans, super loyal to their little bank, been there for 20 years, really conscious of that. And we sort of talked through and went, hey, what are these rates looking like? The reality is they're around 4.5% to 4.8%, which is horrendous. Like
that just clicked in my head then when you said that.
Well, they're like, no, but they dropped them in September. Yeah, from 5.51 to 4.6, 4.7. Like, it's still no good. It's still rubbish. So looking across the board for these guys, being able to get them a rate in the low twos, okay, around 2.09, 2.29, that kind of stuff. On their level of lending, 540,000. Are you ready?
Wow.
It's about 2.5% difference. It's 13 grand a year. Like, what? That's their holiday for the year as a family. And then also having a look, understood that there was maybe a discrepancy around there. They had a line of credit facility as well, and managed to look at getting a credit back for them for being overcharged some interest on that. So
wow,
huge, like massive. And I know we talk about it a lot, and it probably feels like, oh yeah, Phil and Lauren are always talking about this, but we still see way too many home loans that are paying too much in interest. Absolutely. So when we use loyalty tax, yeah, your loyalty is costing you money. It's money that's going out of your pocket and into the banks, and they won't do anything unless we ask.
And remembering rates are moving around a little bit at the moment. Yeah, so probably a better time than ever to not miss this opportunity to take advantage of some of the low rates while they're still in play. Topical news article, I guess. Anyone that's watched, probably turned the TV on this week, has heard about one of the major banks, let's just say, not meeting a time frame for a lovely young couple in Brisbane, and they missed out on settlement by a day. Had their $75,000 deposit taken by the vendor, and the property was resold for a higher amount. Reality, I guess, of that in the Queensland market, within their right for the seller to do that, unfortunately, noting that we harp on.
You do.
I give great suggestions and lots of really good advice. You harp on a little about the timeframes, and when you're signing contracts and being organised and having a finance date and a settlement date in Queensland, and then going, oh, it'll be right, we'll get an extra day, or having an agent saying it'll be right, we'll get an extension if we need one. I think this is just a really good example of a sign of the market at the moment, that it is a little bit heated, and if an opportunity arose for someone to be able to resell that property at a much higher position, they're able to, and losing again on top of that, not only missing out on the house, but having what would be a lifetime savings
Absolutely.
For a young couple taken on the same day. So it happens. We do hear the stories, but it's not as easy as sometimes, we'll just sign for 30 and if we need a couple of extra days it can happen, or it'll be an inconvenience but we'll make it work. I just think that's a really relevant example of how it just doesn't always work out the way we want it to. So
when we're harping on about timeframes, that's exactly why, because we understand how the Queensland legislation works and we want to make sure that you're protected and that you're organised and this goes through smoothly. So
and we hear of these examples, and that's just one that's obviously made current affair because it sells news, unfortunately, but terrible story. But remembering these things are now not using their example, please believe me when I say that, but working with our clients, we like to think that some of that's controllable and maybe avoidable. We know right now there is banks that if you signed a contract today, you wouldn't be able to settle until maybe the middle of January.
Absolutely.
We're towards the end of November. We've got banks that can pick up a file within 2 days. We've got others at the moment that would be 18 business days. All these things are super relevant when you're signing a contract and you're sort of under the pressure to meet a certain timeline. A conversation with the best brokers in Queensland, on the coast, in the world, but on the planet, in the multiverse. If you call us first, we can just help guide through that, and help maybe set those terms and help you guys not have the stress of the thought of something like that happening, which again, in this example, it might not have been, out of anyone's control, but we can preempt a lot of that stuff. And at least, if need be, if there's a 30-day and we look at that right now, it's like, it's not achievable. Let's set you up for the win and let's make sure those terms on that contract up front are presented in a time frame that's going to work.
And just also a side note on that as well is this is just Queensland. Okay, so if you're interstate, if you're from New South Wales or Victoria and you're buying property up here, it is different. You guys have a grace period. So again, the importance, we talk about that A-team, having a good solicitor, pay for a good solicitor who can give you advice around this, making sure you understand how the legislation works here and not assuming that it's the same as the other states. So just bearing that in mind as well, if you're moving up here or buying property and you are interstate, yes, it does work differently. So again, having the proper professionals in place to help give you the right guidance is super important.
Yeah, awesome. So definitely not harping on, but giving great suggestions. As always, heard it here first. Don't forget, for the Saturday summer session, sun's out, guns out.
Wow, 2 from 2.
Hope you guys have a great weekend. Crazy run home to Christmas, but we look forward to chatting with you all next week. Bye for now. Bye.